It's hard to explain what really happened, largely because the Clinton family were so effective and selective presentation of their ideas about how to manage what happened. I had traumatic amnesia. I couldn't remember all of the things that had happened yet. The neuroplastic bubble hadn't burst yet. And I was in a lot of suffering. It was like a sledgehammer was hitting me in the head. And that was from the childhood impact of terrible kidnapping trauma. Now, the rabbit have wailed and screeched. I mean, Evan now never gets any rest. He's so tirelessly compounding the lies that were said about what happened. Because I had to put all of that aside because something else came up. Now, Penis was 1,000 miles away, but he was astral projecting because Robert Fripp thinks that virginity proves rape and the girl didn't know it. I mean, he's like really psychotic, and he thinks he can just see, woo, through the vibrations, from 1,000 miles, what's going on. I didn't have time for any of that nonsense. Something else came up, and I had to put aside the horrors of childhood, which are already being drowned out by the screeching and wailing of the Farrell family. And Penis Gabriel was doing like this here, right? Now, I'll tell you their side, okay? Their side. This is the side of Roger Waters and Penis Gabriel and the people of here. There's this movie where this girl kidnaps a rich old lady with a gun, right? And the rich old lady gets to know her and they become friends. And she finally convinces her to give up the gun. The first thing she does is shoot her in the head and kills her, right? So this is what you have to see Jimmy Carrey as. He, completely unarmed, albeit talented deaf poet. He's a murderer taking Penis Gabriel hostage. Why? Because he responded to an invitation to go play music with Robert Fripp. It doesn't go, it's the same sort of thing they had with virginity proving rape. Totally unarmed. I mean, there was no gun. I didn't take anybody hostage. I didn't even want the attention of the Beatles or Yoko Ono or Roger Waters. I mean, I just liked Fripp and Gabriel and wanted to find a place where I was comfortable learning from them. I wasn't comfortable with them not knowing about, my struggles. Okay, so this allows them to say, I love you, man, before backstabbing me. I love you, man, before poisoning me in the mouth. I love you, man, before raping Def Genie. I love you, man, before driving me into homelessness, having my eyes draw out of their sockets onto my cheeks with some sort of acid or something. Something hit me in the neck in my apartment when I was living at Moskowitz house. I love you, man, when they leave dead animals on the step. I love you, man, when they threaten to bury me alive. I love you, man, when they, you know, um, give me Parkinson's. Because I'm like the girl who took the woman hostage with a pistol. And so you don't care that she says, I love you, I love you, I love you, and then shoots the little girl in the head, right? Because that's what you do. You lie to get yourself out of trouble, right? And then, barking mad that they locked me in a house from the inside with a man who tortured me from sock labor. He kidnapped, gassed me, beat me, held my head in a headlock so hard that I felt like my head was going to crush. And he said, I'll squeeze your head so hard your nose will pop off. And I'm like, there, everything's cool, and zip out the door, right? And they say I did the same thing. What did I do? I placated a murderer so I could escape. This is a crime. And I call it inventology. He is Gabriel's astral projector. He invents the queer bait is coming to take me hostage. Hmm He's like the girl in the movie with the pistol. And the police say that's right. The police in Pennsylvania say we're from number 5, and we remember when Queerball was being pipped by Colucci. We knew it would come to something like this. We knew it would come. He's a danger to your penis, Gabriel. And Elon Musk says, I know, we'll put electrodes in his face. And we'll get him to scream, I hate you, and shoot him full of dopamine inhibitors. Well, that's their point of view about it. But what really happened was that I sent them a short story that tried to sort of show the whisper campaign that was going on around me. I didn't realize they were behind the whisper campaign, and they would take and say, see, this validates what's being done to him. Dana, we love you, man. Tell us more. I thought that they were legitimate people. I thought that Robert Fripp was a legitimate person. This was a huge mistake. But this is what really happened. What really happened was I wrote a story showing the Whisper campaign so they could try to find out what was going on because something super criminal went on at the University of Pittsburgh. That's what really happened. I mean, you have the story of what they say happened. And of course, eventually I had to deal with the persona that Blair and Clinton put together with Gregory Carl and Kissinger through the media operation, because what they cut and paste, things that were, public relations. In Pittsburgh, that's what they do. There is an element of provincial norm in the way that they batter and humiliate you, and then say, "Go sell yourself, son. Say everything's okay here." And of course, everything is locked from the inside, so you can't escape. So you don't dare say anything else. So naturally, I wanted somebody who was legitimate to look into what was happening. And I got letters from people like Martha Gellhorn, who the authorities went berserk. They took the letter away from me. It went absolutely crazy. When Circe died, and I wrote in emergency to Courtney, the Shifties followed the letter and murdered 2 more Kennedys. You'll find them at the bottom of the lake, They delivered my reply with the murder of 2 more Kennedys. That's a fact of history. Everybody at 1717 Pacific knows it because I sent the picture of Circe there. It arrived the day that they announced the murders. So everybody in the federal courthouse, they may be looking for an opportunity to laugh at me about it. That seems to be what's going on, what they're selling in Tacoma justice. It's the right to laugh at you. And it's a big voodoo thing because, Frank Zappa said, we'll get the feel of the victims, and Clint Eastwood will get them over the hurdle. And then the ultimate Nietzsche achievement is when somebody who they tortured laughs at them. And then Yoko Ono can stick him and they can laugh. And it will all be cleansed emotionally. This is the work of Nosferatu, of Zion, and all of these pimpologists, Evan Nauer, Lisa Miles, Penis Gabriel, Penis Sinfield, Robert Fripp, every single shifty, every single one of them was justifying and substantiating and alibiying Nosferatu by saying they had a right to misconstrue my short story, which was called Chasing an Echo. And it was just, I was trying to find the Whisper campaign so that somebody who I thought was legitimate could help me. But see, Ayn Rand had this book, essay she wrote called Attila and the Witch Doctor. And it's exactly the way somebody like Fripp caters to a vampire of drug malice like Ringo Starr. Like he's the witch doctor scattering this incense of 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 purity and franchise for the monster, Balrog, throwing boulders at innocent people and going, hey, just hang, which is what Ringo Starr is. I mean, Attila and the Witch Doctor could be, every time mention of Witch Doctor, you could say Robert Fripp, and every mention of Attila, you could say Ringo Starr. And it's in the Objectivist newsletter. It would read just as accurately. And these spinner beanies actually cite Ayn Rand as justification for barista gate, for example, never telling anybody that they could protect themselves, so they could protect themselves. In the name of Ayn Rand, Ayn Rand hated the Comprachos. People who did things to children like they did to me for mind control. It's something she absolutely hated. But these people hate Ayn Rand. They evoke her to slander her. I mean, you can't tell them 1,000 times and for it to sink in because they already know. What they're doing is they're playing simpleton in Clinton media. Sean Lennon is speculating on his father's Houdini, is what's going on.